listen close. Truth not hide forever. Hey. Colonel in the O's. Wyatt Africa, stand up. Hey. Legacy media all around. Headlines spinning round and round. Selling fear from town to town. Trying to keep the people down. Lies and fake news every day. Misinformation on display. Disinformation lights the way, leading sheep so far astray. Little lambs in line, trusting everyone in sign, marching where them say is fine, never asking who designed. Truth gets traded for political gain, again and again and again, while ordinary people feel the strain, caught in somebody else's game. Resistance is futile, them say. Just obey what you're told today, but the people waking up anyway, and the truth keeps finding a way. Resistance is futile, them cry, while their stories never quite comply. You can see it with your own two eyes. Truth lives on, it never dies. Them divide people left and right, turning neighbors into fights, clouding up what should be bright, hiding facts out of sight. They use people then discard, push narratives strong and hard. When the evidence leaves them scarred, them simply move the goalposts yard by yard. Cognitive dissonance in the air, contradictions everywhere, yet some still pretend not to care. Like the emperors got close to it. But a movement's growing every day, not from rage and not from hate, just folks who choose to investigate before it's far too late. Resistance is futile, them say. Just obey what you're told today, but the people waking up anyway, and the truth keeps finding a way. Resistance is futile, them cry, while their stories never quite comply. You can see it with your own two eyes. Truth lives on, hey, it never dies. Come and get a daily dose of reality. No hysteria, no manufactured tragedy. Take a little break from propaganda and insanity, and step into a place of clarity. Inoculation against fake news infection. Yellow journalism without direction. Question everything, make your own inspection. Truth should never fear examination. Join the colonel, hear the story. Without all the money, facts should glory. Facts before ideology, that's the art of honest reporting. The Wyatt Army isn't just a name, it's ordinary people in the game, thinking freely, not seeking fame, refusing to be led by shame. Just chill, relax and hear the scene, see what all the headlines mean. Objectivity sharp and clean like a river flowing crystal green. No need for panic, no need for fear. Take a look and make it clear. When the facts and evidence appear, the signal rises through the smear. Resistance is futile, them clear, yet more people question all the same. Searching truth beyond the frame, and refusing to play the game. Resistance is futile, no more. People knocking on reality's door, seeking facts they're looking for, and finding what they can't ignore. Yeah man, truth shines brighter than confusion. The noise fades, the facts remain. Colonel Chris and the Wyatt Army, keeping it cool, keeping it real. Resistance
Did you guys need one of these? Those are the truth pills. Anybody need a truth pill? Good evening. Welcome back to Night Owls. Chris live in central Pennsylvania. Good evening. How's it going? Steve Swanepoel, Arnold Neveling, Arnie Brands, Karen Lank, Edwin Steenkamp, so-called refugee. Missing Cape Town a lot. Greetings from Beijing. Woo, you can have Beijing, man. No thanks. Scoutlicious says the Brits are coming together. Well, it's about time. I mean, the intentional targeting of white people in white majority countries by racist bigots and by leftist hate wankers has become an epidemic. Here are just some of the cases right here. Just a few of them someone put together. And of course, when a drug dealer who beat a pregnant woman and who for over 40 minutes sat in a vehicle while under the effects of illicit narcotics and then refused to get out of the vehicle when the other black man got out, nothing happened to him. And then a legal chokehold trained by the Minneapolis Police Department on police officers was used to restrain him by a Hispanic, an Asian, and a white officer. The white officer became the sacrificial lamb for the scam Black Lives Matter movement, and Derek Chauvin sits in prison till this day. Meanwhile, white people are murdered, tortured, raped, and wiped out left and right by people, other people, and nothing ever happens. White people don't burn the streets down. This is ridiculous. Now, this is not a race thing. It's a statement of fact. Here are some cases here, and the horrible treatment of white people, and nothing happened. There, of course, is poor Ukrainian girl who was stabbed to death by a black man on public transport, a refugee. The Henry up in the top there, who was stabbed to death by a racist Indian, and then the police caused his death by not seeking care for him, by actually putting him in handcuffs when he was no threat whatsoever. The Asians who were there posed a bigger threat. I've seen the video. Charlie Kirk, of course, murdered by a leftist. Here they burned Minneapolis below that. And, of course, there's the gentleman who saved lives on a train and was prosecuted for saving lives, a miscarriage of justice. And then, of course, that's Daniel Penny. Is it Daniel Penny, his name? And then, of course, there's Donald Trump shot in the head by a leftist. But we don't have cities on fire and riots taking place. When white people are callously murdered, people just look the other way. No one pays attention to it. One could say the same thing was true when black people were murdered 120 years ago, but that's not the case today. Not the case today. We'll see if the Brits actually rise up and react to this. You can't use social media. They'll be in prison for standing on a street corner with the Union Jack in the United Kingdom. They'll be in prison for social media posts. So we'll see what happens to the Brits if they have the courage to stand up for what's right and what's necessary. The British police for decades stood around while white girls were sexually trafficked by South Asians, Pakistanis, Indians, and Bangladeshis used as sex slaves, impregnated, pumped up with alcohol and drugs. These are 10, 11, 12, and 13-year-old girls, their lives destroyed and traded around, being raped as many as 700, 800 times, while the police, some of them were complicit in this. And of course, the police forces in the United Kingdom are infiltrated, just like the border services, with people who are immigrants, not British-born nationals. And it is a disgrace. Son, Janssen van Rensburg, JF and his son, William Wheeler, Shih Tzu, Veroshka, Emerencia Quinn, Vodka Model, Vanessa Blom, Broken Arrow, Monica Velchman. What's going on? Oh, in Florida, okay. And then will there ever be justice? No, Derek Chauvin will rot in prison because it's a state murder conviction. The federal government can do nothing unless his attorneys manage to get a hearing before the Supreme Court, which can say that his civil rights were violated because they were. Evidence was not allowed to be produced about the cause. The actual autopsy by the coroner said that it was a fentanyl overdose, not the chokehold. Yet he went to prison for that. My gent says, great work. Well, thank you for that. Not sure what that was for. Yesterday, my poor old Valts. Yes, Cheryl. Everyone's are gone. They're not gone. You just can't see them, okay? Let's move on from that. This was in the news. We talked about this endlessly earlier today. It's an update. Second medicals today, okay? Let's get off of this refugee. Oh, my gosh, my documents disappeared. They haven't disappeared. If they disappeared, you'll be getting a message from the U.S. government saying we need to reload your documents, okay? We talked about that endlessly today. Some of you missed that, so I'm not going to get excited about it, but let's there's no need to panic here, okay? I told you that my case is not something. If your documents are missing, then they'll ask for them. Yep. So, all right. That was Resistance is Futile, of course. That's the truth warrior right there. That's why I was offering you guys some of those pills, those personality value pills. 30-day recovery guide for Ferrayas and two-faced people. It's tea and truth. No sugar, but that's because I use honey. Only use honey. Good evening, Dave in the USA. How's it going? Alrighty. So some big news tonight. Scott Pelley from CBS 60 Minutes was sacked by CBS News over his abusive behavior yesterday in an office meeting with the producers of 60 Minutes. He has been sacked, and good riddance. Hey, Faithful Farmer, what's going on? Good riddance to Scott Pelley. He's an arrogant asshat. Meanwhile, the Vegas Golden Knights, in a game that I did not watch because I've been busy prepping for this show, won for the record books. The Vegas Golden Knights on the road in Carolina win Game 1 for their 7th consecutive victory in the Stanley Cup playoffs. In the finals, now Vegas leads the series 1-0, and they hold court, winning 5-4 with a late goal by Tomas Hertl. Unbelievable, folks. I'll be watching a replay of that tonight if I can get to it. Looking forward to it, but they usually make that much later because NHL sold off the rights to this crap to Disney, and these pricks don't post stuff until a day later. It's really pathetic. Let's see if it's available earlier this evening. I'm going to try to watch it then. Chaos Juggler, how's it going? Grok Matrix, Arnie Brands, I heard that they're available at Discam. Oh, those pills, yeah. Yeah, rumor has it. Right. Beyond that, a top executive, that's the lead story we're talking. Even though it's not the news, this is Night Owls. We can chat about any topic. You guys can ask refugee stuff at any time. You can ask about history of South Africa, about America, about the world, politics, religion, culture, whatever you want to talk about. It is Night Owls, but I do have a few news stories for you, and that's because things happen 24 hours a day. So let's just talk about this South African who in his youth, as a young man, his early 20s, was involved in a right-wing group in South Africa. And for that, he's been sacked. The company that fired him after hiring him claims that it's because he failed to disclose something in his CV. Well, not everything goes on a CV. CVs only go back so far. Speaking of which, someone asked me, look at their CV, and your CV is too long. It is not tailored for the United States. You're going to need your refugee group to help you trim that thing down. The person asked me to look at that. So anyway, let's look at this story and see what's going on. This is not firing man because he's not capable. It's racial revenge by the Dutch, and it's punishment for something that happened decades ago. So this is just ridiculous, and we'll expose this company for what they are. Top exec fired from Dutch job over far-right student days in apartheid South Africa. Pretoria-born environmentalist Donald Pols has been dismissed just one day after starting as the sustainability chief at Tata Steel Netherlands. Now, Tata is an Indian company. Isn't it ironic? These people have a caste system, actually judging people about apartheid. Dutch media reported that Pols led the Afrikaner Studentenfront, a right-wing student group at the University of Pretoria in the 1990s. He told Dutch newspaper he looks back on those days with disgust, calling the group's views reprehensible. South African-born environmentalist, born in 1972. So in 1990, he was 18. Seriously, you're going to hold him accountable for that? He didn't murder anybody. He didn't steal anything. He didn't kill anybody. Yet, Winnie Mandela, responsible for the death of a young man. Convicted felon. Then she stole from the government of South Africa as a member of parliament. Convicted felon. Still sat in parliament. Cyril Ramaphosa, credibly accused of kidnapping, torture, and misuse of the police, as well as money laundering, president of South Africa. The South African ANC members who necklaced people were all given amnesty, despite committing murder. This guy did no such thing, and yet they can't hire him for a job because they're cowards. In recent days, it has become clear that additional information about his background has come to light, information that has affected us and was not previously shared with the company. Tata said not all information important for making a well-considered decision regarding his appointment was provided. While Tata did not say what Pols had left out of his CV, Dutch media unearthed evidence that Pols was a leader of the Afrikaner Studentenfront in the early 1990s. This was a right-wing student group active in institutions. You know, it's fascinating. Kurt Waldheim was actually a Nazi SS officer, or a Nazi officer in Yugoslavia, hunting down Chetniks and partisans and executing them. His unit was responsible for that. He remained the UN Secretary General, Kurt Waldheim from Österreich, from Austria. This guy did no such activity, and these people, the Dutch media, go after him, destroy his life. The Dutch media are a bunch of woke idiots. They are so arrogant and condescending, it's beyond comprehension. And so they made it their mission in life to make this man not ever have a job, because he grew up in a system and at the age of 18 participated in that system. He didn't kill people, he didn't hunt people down, he didn't deprive people of any of their liberties. He just espoused political views that they don't agree with. And so they feel it's necessary to destroy his life 40 years later. Evidence before the Truth and Reconciliation Commission 1996 has a former member of the student group Senate polls was its leader. Jean-Pierre Duplessis, who was part of the group's management committee, said the group stormed the stage of the meeting held by Nelson Mandela in 1991 after deciding to disrupt it by violent means if necessary. I'm sorry. The EFF actually stormed the president's stage in Parliament. None of those people were unemployed. They actually threatened the life of Cyril Ramaphosa. Mandela was never threatened by this. The Afrikaner student front had a black, red, and white flag model on that of the Afrikaner Weerstandsbewegung. He moved to the Netherlands in 1993. His decision to join TAT surprised friends of the Earth Netherlands, the environmental group where he served as director since 2015. That group said, we're surprised his departure and very disappointed decision to join Tata Steel, one of the largest polluters in the Netherlands. So they have exacted revenge. The Dutch are the biggest hypocrites in the world, responsible for much of the slave trade, for colonizing North America, for colonizing South Africa, for colonizing Indonesia, and perpetrating the slave trade for centuries. The Dutch. The arrogance of these people. I don't see Sparky tonight. Well, the emperor has no clothes. The gloves come off in the impeachment hearings, as they should. Pala impeachment probe overshadows the presidency's budget vote. With impeachment proceedings firmly underway in Parliament, President Ramaphosa came under fire on Tuesday as opposition parties questioned his ability to clean up the criminal justice system. This played out in the makeshift chamber of the Dome in the Cape Town as the coast of Pala loomed large, where MPs debated the presidency's more than 800 million budget vote. Rise Mzansi's Makashule Ghana, the new elected chairperson, said he expected the president to fully cooperate with his committee despite his Section 89 panel report judicial review application. Wow. MPs do not waste time raising the Pala specter after Ramaphosa delivered his budget vote. And then you tell us you're going to dismantle criminal syndicates? How? The criminal syndicates are in your house. They are in your living room. How will you dismantle them? They're under the sofa. They are in the constitutional and legal system. Wow. That is from Kanyasile Litchfield Shabalala, MK Party MP. DA Parliamentary Leader George Michaelis was also concerned about the president's plans to root out corruption in the criminal system. When the president says he's prepared to face the mothers who have lost children to gang violence, he makes a serious statement. But the question for us is not whether he can face them. The question is whether the state has done everything within its power to prevent those losses in the first place. It's done nothing in its power. Every day, another 58 South Africans are lives. Well, that figure is temporary low. It'll go back up to 82 soon. Relax. Action SA's Parliamentary Leader Arthur Trollop said, for example, lifestyle audits you promised and yet still have not materialized. The president tells the system is still being developed. The emperor has no clothes. Well said, Athol Trollop. Ha 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 ha. Well said. Well said. Yeah, well said. Brilliant stuff by Athol Trollop there. Hang on a second here. Just sending a message to Athol Trollop. You're going to speak cameras against the law in Texas? I did not know that, Broken Arrow. That's good. Finally, a new soapy to replace Sieb Delan and Pala Nights. SABC 2 at 6:30. Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. As I said, the Vegas Golden Knights got it done. In the third period, 3:40 left in the game. Just 22 shots on goal, but 4 goals scored. Vegas scores the winning goal here. Tomas Hertel is the one that gets it. He gets a pass from Colton Sissons, snapping past Frederick Anderson for the slot, make it 5-4 in the third period.
And a very good face-off man in the playoffs, better than 61%. Boy, Sissons was open and Hertel missed him, or he would have gone in unimpeded. 3.5 to go. Hertel into the dot to Sissons.
The pass. There it is. Tomas Hertel.
Tomas Hertel.
5-4 Vegas.
5-4 Vegas.
Wow, with just 3 minutes and 24 seconds left, and Vegas took it home. My Golden Knights, well done. Well done, fellas, well done. Thank you for purchasing the memberships there, Chaos Juggler, appreciate that. I'm sure the people who got a membership are grateful too. Yes, Vegas wins it. Okay, now we're finally getting results in, folks. They're coming in now. They're coming in now. Unfortunately, Chad Bianco is not going to advance, so it's probably going to be a Democrat who winds up being the next governor. Javier Becerra is likely to be the guy. Here are the initial results. The polls in California closed at 11 p.m. Already 1/4 of the votes in, 27% of the votes in from California tonight, folks. And let's take a look at those results. They just updated, and 1/4 of the votes already counted. And Rafael Becerra is the top vote getter. The top 2 vote getters go on to the general election, regardless of party. So Swalwell just has 8,400 votes, but Javier Becerra has 606,000, almost 27% of the vote. Steve Hilton has 593,000. Tom Steyer, the billionaire wackadoodle whom I met in Aspen, Colorado, who made his money off of oil and gas and then pretends he's a green environmentalist. He's got 450,000, but he spent hundreds of millions of dollars on his campaign. Chad Bianco, the Republican from San Diego, whose campaign was sabotaged by Donald Trump endorsing Steve Hilton, which is ruined this process so that we can get 2, because the Chad Bianco had 15% and Hilton had 16%. They were the top vote getters. But when it comes down to voting, this is what we actually see happening. But look at this ridiculous number of candidates in this race. Look at this. Look at that. These are all candidates for office for a California governor. 2.2 million votes so far, which is actually, so that means about 8 million will be, if it could have been, that's actually quite a few voting. So there you go. This guy got 138 votes. Living for God and Country Damad, 651 votes. Ridiculous. Jews and Arabs throughout this list, and Hispanics. Not many traditional Americans listed here. So Becerra and Steve Hilton look to be on course unless something dramatic happens and Tom Steyer picks up a lot of votes quickly. That's 73% of the vote. 3/4 of the votes are those 3 candidates. If you throw in Bianco, then you pretty much got all. Katie Porter has tanked. She was expected well. She's doing very, very poorly there. And Betty Yee, she's a clown. So, yep, here you go. You can see Becerra's done well, of course, in the Valley, San Francisco area, and L.A. is expected. Steyer has done well north of L.A. in Orange County and also up north in California. Steve Hilton has done well in traditional Republican strongholds in the Central Valley and in the desert areas. Yep. So Bianco has only done well up north, which is interesting because he is from San Diego, but San Diego hasn't reported yet, so that'll probably push his number up. No, Karen Bass is leaving. She won't. Well, no, you're right. She's running. She'd probably win just because Democrats have rigged this system. So, yep. That is the California race right now. So, 31% of the votes in now. It just updated. Becerra's up to 704,000. His vote, he's increasing 27%. Steve Hilton has also increased to 670,000. He's now at 25%. Yeah, so, and Chad Bianco dropped from 10 to 9.8. So, yeah. All right, so that's that race. Now let's take a look at some of these other ones. In the Iowa Senate race, the Republican candidate is Hinson. She's got 74% of the vote. The Democratic primary, it's Turek, who's got 63% of the vote. And that's going to do it for those. All right, so here's the Iowa Senate race that I was talking about. That's Republican primary, okay? Ashley Hinson wins the Republican primary with 74% of the vote, with 95% of the votes, and only 3 counties yet to report in Iowa. The Democrats, 3 counties yet to report, and we see that Turek has won that one overwhelmingly. So that is the Iowa race for Iowa governor. The Republican candidate, this is a lot closer than we thought. It's changed from earlier. Representative Randy Feenstra has crucial establishment support in the endorsement of President Trump. Feenstra now is just barely behind And that's what 95% of the votes in, but it looks like Adam Steen has been the spoiler in this race, and this will be one where Trump does not get his way. It looks like Zach Lon, and Zach Lon has just increased his vote. Yep, he just increased his vote. Now he's up by a few hundred more, so 78,000. So he's up about 600 votes. Yep, with 95% of the votes having come in now. Only one county or two counties not listed. We just had, so Greene County and Montgomery County have yet to report. Everyone else is got their votes in. Let's see what Story County did. Zach Lyon got 40%. So, yep. So Feenstra is on a jeopardy of losing this one. That's Trump's preferred pick. Zach Lyon, a former, and Adam Steen, a former state agency administrator. So the Democratic primary, Rob Sam was uncontested, so he wins it. So that's the governor race for Iowa. Let's go to New Jersey. These are congressional races for Republican. Justin Murphy wins that one. Well, he hasn't won, He's ahead with 90% of the vote in 33. So, yeah, that vote was split amongst 4 candidates pretty evenly. The Democratic primary, Cory Booker, of course, was uncontested. And here is how it looks in the races. So, in the first district, uncontested for both candidates. In the second district, the Democrat was contested. Van Drew, the Republican, uncontested. Look at all these uncontested races. Only 2 races were contested out of all these districts. It's crazy. Yep. So that is New Jersey. Let's look at Montana. Montana, the Senate race, Kurt Alm has 77% of the vote, with only 42% of the votes in, though. Former U.S. Attorney became the de facto Republican nominee for Senate when Senator Steve Daines dropped his candidacy minutes before filing deadline. Yep. This guy was endorsed by President Trump. Charles Walking Child, no doubt a Native American, comes in a distant third, 8,300 votes so far. But much of the state is yet to report. Less than half has got it in. So Billings, Montana has got the vote in. Yeah, so in the Democratic primary, you can see the number of votes is significantly lower. It looks like it will likely be Alani Bankhead, but it's too early to call what 51% of the votes counted there. House of Representatives race, District 1 and 2. State legislature races, lots of races there. Supreme Court race, they're uncontested, so those guys will get it. Public Service Commission. And that's Montana. Let's look at New Mexico races tonight. For the Senate, Ben Ray Lujan, seeking a second term, heavy favorite in the primary against Matt Dotson, Democratic Socialist, and he's got 85% of the vote. In the Republican primary, Larry Marker, a writing candidate, got 4,600. No one's bothering to run as a Republican because it's a hopeless task in New Mexico, unfortunately. So he got 4,600 votes. So he will be in the Senate race in the fall, but the Democrat will win that. That seat will stay for the Democrats. South Dakota, Republican Senate primary, Mike Rounds is winning this one handily with 58% of the vote in. And the Democratic primary, Julian Beaudion, uncontested. For governor, Republican primary, it's close with 59% of the vote in. Tony Doden is leading. Governor Larry Roden, his senator's office, and Kristi Noem left, but he is behind at the moment. He could lose. That's a sitting governor. Toby Doden is a businessman. In the Democratic primary, Dan Ehlers, the former state senator, is uncontested. The at-large House seat, because there's only one House seat for the state, Marty Jackley, the Republican, has 79% of the vote as it comes in. And the Democrat was uncontested. And that is the majority of the big races going on right now. Let's go back and check out the California race, okay? Let's see the numbers rise. There you go. With 35% of the votes, Becerra's dropped a little bit, and Steve Hilton has gained. Tom Steyer has dropped a little bit, and Chad Bianco has now jumped up to 11.43% as the southern part of the state comes in, including this district over here where he got 27% of the vote. Got 66,000 votes there. That was over 10% of his vote total just right there in that one county, Riverside County. So we now have 35% of the votes in, and Chad Bianco is going to have a long way to go. It looks like it's going to be Becerra and Steve Hilton most likely, but we'll see what happens in the end, which means that Steve Hilton probably will not become the governor because they'll vote for Becerra. Yep, so California race, we'll keep an eye on that as the night goes on. So, very quickly, the Independent Online is expanding its media coverage. Yeah, did you know that? The Independent Online. To create a large number of journalism media jobs. They're set to launch One of the most significant media recruitment drives in South Africa's recent history, with applications for a broad range of editorial, digital, technology, innovation positions expected to open in the next 2 days. The recruitment campaign forms part of their ambitious expansion strategy following its recent announcement, $200 million investment program aimed at accelerating audience growth, strengthening journalism, expanding digital products. Yeah, so they're looking for executive editors, okay? Editors, news editors, provincial editors, digital editors, investigative journalists, senior, okay. There you go. Chief Executive Officer Viasan Sumbramani said the initiative represents investment in the future of journalism. They're going to have investigative journalists and editors. Well, I'll tell you what, maybe I'll apply for executive editor just because they need someone that actually oversees their production because it's got problems. Think of nouns. Spencer Pratt is being an important one for Los Angeles. Even, yeah. Looks like a South African voting list. Yeah, exactly. That's crazy. What's the propaganda push? Oh, you mean for IOL? Yeah, probably. Anyway, so, all right, folks, how we doing tonight? How's it going out there? So, Vegas, yay, they won. That's cool. That's so cool. So happy about that. I don't know if they come with police protection, John Brown. So, how is everyone doing tonight? 142 people currently, 450. Whoa, 3 people just left. 455 views. California was lovely. I lived in California as a child, and I lived there again as an adult in the Army. I was stationed at Monterey at the Presidio, and I lived on Fort Ord, what was left of Fort Ord, and was in Monterey every day. Lovely place to be, and that was 20 plus years ago, almost 30 years ago, when I was fit and healthy, and my hip wasn't a problem, and was getting around was great. Loved it. Louise Duplessis, how are you doing this evening? Or morning for you, actually. So I have to say, guys, I'm very disappointed in the performance of my most recent videos. They are not looking good. So, my most recent videos, what's going on with this website? Only got a few thousand views. It's crazy. So I had a 45,000 view video, 35,000 view back to back, and then 25,000 view. And now I've got 2,700 and 3,300 views for this Liam Jacobs story. I guess people don't really care about that. It's a shame. But the shorts are doing much better. But even they're not eating the normal standard. What is with YouTube? It's not working. There we go. Slow. 10,700 on the last one. 5,600 another one. 9,000 another one. 13,000. 21,000. So that's much better than I'm getting on the other ones. Arizona has a better climate. California, no. California has a very different climate. Arizona's is pretty much the same throughout the state. And it's quite brutally hot. Very hot in Arizona. California has all kinds of weather. It's mountains with ski resorts. It has beaches. It has everything you can imagine. Rainforest. Yeah, California, unfortunately, has been ruined by politicians. You're likely to attract new viewers by turning highlights from why did the ANC fail, ex-president Thabo Mbeki blames spies into, so I'll get 55. Let me see, create a video clip. Will it do it? Goes to the studio. It wants me to create it. Why doesn't it just do it for me? Suggested clips. Okay. Okay. Suggested clips. Okay. Okay. Create draft. Okay. Wow, it is doing it all for me. This is his AI. Wow, that's pretty cool. Huh. Wow. Wow. That's not what I want. How do I get this thing to? Okay. Let's see if that works. I've not done this before. Let's see how this goes, guys. People might give me a hard time because it's just recycling stuff. I think I'm just recycling, but we'll try it. It says I'll get 55 subscribers from this. We'll see if it happens. It's worth checking out at least once just to see if it's true. I don't have to re-record anything. It's just there. No issues found. Let's see what the thumbnail came up with was. They made a thumbnail for me and they said it's unsafe. That's funny. Huh. So I'm generating new thumbnails because I didn't really like those. Need to wake up the kids and make lunches. Kids? I didn't have kids. I knew about the one. All right. Changing it back to the other one there. Okay, let's see what happens now. Issues found. So this is interesting. See if he gets any views. So that's something new we're trying. You have three. Oh, you have 3 kids. Wow. Somebody has a hobby. Alrighty, cool beans. Got that now. Okay. Oh. Huh. That's clips now. So that's where this. Create clips. Where's this clips thing at now? There it is. Clips. Daily ideas. That's not what I want. Well, it just gave me the one idea, then it didn't go to any more. So what the heck? I like the idea, but it only did the one. So oh well. Interesting. Been told winter snow is only about a foot deep and it melts away in a day or two. Well, don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. Yes, Texas is hot, hot, hot. And if you go down to Houston, it's hot and humid. Houston, Galveston are brutal. Brutal, folks. It's rough stuff. It's not for sissies. That's for damn sure. Good evening, Jason. What's going on? Jason, are you working? Have you found work? You don't have to answer that question if you don't want to. Okay, so what now? Warmer days in Erie. Okay. Okay. Lots of interviews. Okay, another one. So good luck in your interview. Veroshka's found some work. I don't know if she's taking it, though. I have to wait and find out. So, El Nino is the big one. So AI is making something for me right now on a topic that I do. Let me see how good it is. Huh. Only 5 plumbing jobs here in my town, going to have to find a plumbing job in Nashville. Huh, Stephen, that's odd. I can't believe it's only 5, you know. By the way, that's what I want to talk about. So this morning, 2 weeks ago, I received an email as a reminder that my summertime checkup for my air conditioning unit was scheduled for today. That was 2 weeks ago email. Then I received a phone call a few days after that. They wanted to make sure they had a reliable number to reach me at home, because for the first appointment they said what time to get there. So it'd be about 8 o'clock. So that was all set. Then this morning at about 7:30, I received a phone call from the HVAC technician saying, "Hi, I'm I forget what his name was, Brandon. That wasn't really his name, but anyway, I'm coming to your house. I'll be there by 8 o'clock. Are you guys ready for me? And this is what you should expect." He arrived here just before 8 o'clock, knocked on the door, very pleasant, very friendly, and came into the house and took him down the basement. And he was here for 2 hours, went outside, checked the Lennox air conditioning unit outside, the lines, cleaned the filters, cleaned the system, and was here for 2 hours and is gone. And I paid nothing. I paid nothing because I pay an annual fee, which is just a couple $100 for that service. It's hard to get HVAC technicians and air conditioning and heating unit service done because there's just too much of a demand. So you have to be an existing client for them to do that. And I was very fortunate that I signed up with them last year. Yep. That's old news, Meerkat. They seized it. Yeah. That's incredible service, Heidi. Yeah. Incredible service. Yeah. It's unbelievable. I was very happy with it. So, yeah, what happened is that my unit was not working properly a year ago. And I called them out, and they're like, "Well, you know, you're not an existing client." So I talked to a couple people, and they recommended this company called Zimmerman, said they're very good. And I don't know any of these people. I hadn't used them. So I neglected taking care of my air conditioning heating unit for too long. A new construction, I didn't think about it. All I did was change the air filters, and I didn't really have them service it. So last year, it was working overtime, burning a lot of energy, not producing enough cool air. It was cool in the house, but it was too much work I could tell. I didn't want to wear it out. So I called them. They said, "Well, you know, we'll be able to come out like in 7 weeks." I was like, "Geez." And then they called me back and said, "We have an opening tomorrow. Are you available?" I said, "Yes." So they came out, and that one I had to pay a couple $100 for the service. I had to replace a couple valves and parts and the filter and stuff like that and clean it out. And that was a few hours. I think he was here for like 4 hours that day. And then I signed up as a client, and now they come. So that was last year in the winter time, or spring, spring. And then the June, I think they came last year when I asked them to come out. And then they came back in October to check the heating system. And then they just came back here in June to check the air conditioning. It's fantastic. That is service. Yeah, that is so cool. Yeah, replacing HVAC system is very expensive. Yeah, the air conditioning unit, probably a good quality one, cost about $20,000. Solar is very expensive in America, but it depends where you go, Lindsay. I have solar panels that I paid nothing for. Absolutely nothing. And the reason I paid nothing for is because the state of Pennsylvania wants to get residential users off the grid. So every residential electricity customer in the state pays like 50 cents a month into a fund, and there's millions of people. So the money goes in there. That money is used to subsidize the installation of solar panels, along with the panels. Who called me? I missed a call. That's a scam, so I didn't miss anything. Later. Okay. Okay, so I got 50 kilowatts. Was it yesterday? It was just incredible solar. Let's see how it went today. It was looking pretty good earlier in the day, but it's a late day. Yeah, so I got 45.5 kilowatts today. That's incredible. There was some gaps. There's some clouds passed over. It's kind of a jagged thing. So if you look at this, you'll see that it was. Wait a second here. Yeah, so you can see there was kind of a jagged late in the afternoon. So where the spikes there, that's in the afternoon. So it was straight up. It was doing fantastic when the panels caught it, and then it just spiked later in the day. So 45.5, and that's the day before. Okay. There, Sunday. Sunday I got 50.8. Look at that. That's a great graph right there. Peak production right there. That's incredible. So, yep. 50 kilowatts. So that's some really good stuff. So for this month, just 2 days in, I've got 90 already. That's a pretty good start. I'm up to 23 megawatts lifetime. I produced 3.6 this year. So, yeah. But, yeah, that's all driven. I didn't pay for that system. I pay a monthly fee, which is paying off the loan that the company made, but it's not to my credit. Of course, Holden, I can get one with bells and whistles that cost $40,000. I can get a cheap version for $14,000, but I don't want to replace $14,000. A lot of money. Texas passed a law. Police can detain and deport illegal aliens. They don't have to wait for ICE now. 800 Mexicans get arrested and deported in Dallas for it. Good. Good. I know this is sickening that you help save ESCOM by putting 6 or 8 gigawatts of power off the grid, and now they want to charge you a fee because you're not using the grid. What ridiculous. That's what happens when state-run things. Huh, okay. Huh. Okay, what happened here? It's not giving me the same ones. Tell me if you missed it. Huh. No more driver's license tests in Spanish. That's good. That'd be fantastic to see. I'd love to see that. Huh. So we're close, but I don't know if we're going to make it. 965. We need 35 more subscribers to get that 127,000, which would be 1 year and only 27,000 new subscribers. But to be fair, in that 1 year, that would be more than I gained in 4 years back when the channel was hidden so well by YouTube before we had the breakout last year. So. Huh. Where can I get this song? What song is that? Which song? Boy. Didn't Florida pass a law that learners print's going to be done in English? That's how it should be, yeah. Solar should be supplied to all southern schools since they can't keep the power on. Yeah, diesel generators cost a fortune. They do. They cost a huge fortune, absolutely. An additional 27 refugee estimates excluding the children. What are you talking about 27,000? Where is that coming from? Stephen Swanepoel, what are you talking about? Where I need to know where that's coming from. People, the police should always be able to detain illegal aliens. They should always be able to do that. Oh, your new subscribers. No, Stephen, this channel is not a refugee channel. It's not just refugees. There's people here for the news, for the entertainment, for the music, for lots of reasons. I cover the entire world. I mean, I have Americans watch this program. They're not refugees. I have people in the UK watch this program. They're not refugees. New Zealand, Australia, Vietnam, people all over the world. Wow, $30.30 a gallon in Texas. Yeah, here it was $4.59, but I paid $3.79, I think, something like that. No, Grok Matrix. I think they were trying to make Steve was making a joke about my subscribers, as if they're all refugees. Well, I hope they're not all refugees, because a lot of refugees have a habit of just disappearing. See, Faithful Farmer, she's an American. She's not a South African. She's not a refugee. She's here. Yep. Yep, and then A Light Rain is an American as well. Yep, and so is Alex. I don't see Alex here tonight. Okay, and Gus. I haven't seen Gus either. So Gus gave me a butt dial earlier. I think he realized he called me. Yeah, I got that. So let's check in on the vote total now. More votes will come in from California. So where's it at? That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this one. Yeah, this is the one I want. California governor race. Let's take a look. 47% of the vote in now. Okay, Tom Steyer is dropping ever so slowly. And Steve Hilton is now in the lead. He now leads in the race by 30,000 votes. That's a huge turnaround. He was trailing by more than that. But there's still a lot of votes come in. Over half the votes still to come in. Wow. And look at Steve Hilton. He is performing very well. The only place that that Becerra is doing very well is the San Francisco area and then Los Angeles. That's it. The rest of the state, nothing. Wow. 47% of the votes in now. Chad Bianco is holding steady about 11%, but that's not going to help. Yep. Tom Steyer at 791,000. Yep. But he's dropped from over 20%. Yep. Henry Holtz is also an American. Okay, Henry. No, you're Amerikaner. No, that's not American. Samsung's moving to Plano. Okay. Wow. So there you go. Pretty cool, huh? Let's check in on some of these other races. The Iowa Senate race. That one's at 95% of the vote in now. South Dakota. Okay, so yeah. Okay, well, Larry Roden gained on Toby Dodine. See that Dodine is got some support in a few places in the outlying counties, but in the central part of the state, which is where there's still votes to come in, that looks like it's going to go the direction of Trump's favorite candidate. So, yep, interesting. Iowa Senate race, we already saw that. South Dakota, California race, 47% of the vote, and we'll keep an eye on that California race. What do you think likely the Republicans keeping the House and Senate midterms? I think it's better than people are making out. Everyone's making out they're going to be slaughtered. They're going to lose. But the redistricting has played a role. The Democrats are heartbroken that their plan to steal all these districts hasn't worked out the way they hoped it would. But the Republicans are just as guilty of redistricting, but they were striking back on what the Democrats started in Maryland 15 years ago and accelerated in Illinois just a couple years ago. Then they blame Republicans for Texas, but Texas was a response to Illinois. So I think that the Republicans can hold the House and they can hold the Senate, but a lot can happen between now and then. You're sad that more Democrats didn't get behind Matt Mahan. No, Matt Mahan just has 4.59% of the vote, 185,000 votes in California right now, Faithful Farmer. Yep. No, they rather get behind the lunatics like Tom Steyer. I've met Tom Steyer in person. Nice guy, friendly, but his political views are crazy. Yep, they're absolutely crazy. And I don't think he's legit anyway. He's spending so much money. How much did Tom Steyer spend on this California race? Hundreds of millions, I think. How much? He ran for president too. Has Tom Steyer spent on the California governor race? Okay, let's see. Billionaire Tom Steyer's ad spending breaks records in California governor's race. This is from a few days ago. Win or lose, billionaire Democrat Tom Steyer will leave a mark in the history books in his bid to become California's next governor. He's running the most expensive political advertising campaign in the country this year. A former hedge fund manager turned liberal activist has spent or booked more than $195 million in ads for broadcast TV, cable, and radio, with the tally still growing. That was a few days ago. Wow. Katie Porter, former U.S. House member, who's among 7 established Democrats in the race, has repeatedly criticized Steyer for dipping in his personal fortune to keep ads in front of voters with scant competition from rivals. Yep. In raw numbers, Steyer's ad blitz has eclipsed the 2010 record set by Republican Meg Whitman, who spent $178 million in total on a losing bid for governor, much of it her own money. That was the costliest campaign in statewide race in the nation's history until now. Yep. History shows money doesn't always translate into votes. Billionaire developer Rick Caruso spent $100 million in 2022 in his bid to become Los Angeles mayor. Much of it his own money, but he was handily defeated by Karen Bass, who was a freaking loser. She spent a fraction, as told. Billionaire former New York City Mayor Bloomberg spent more than $1 billion of his own money on his 2020 presidential bid before dropping out. And Steyer's money was unable to lift him into contention for the 2020 presidential contest, which he dropped out of early in the year. Yep. So Tom Steyer spent a fortune. Let's see if there's been an update from California. Here we go. Let's go check in on that now. Nope, 47%, no change. So wait for more to come in. Wow. Big night. Big night, folks. You don't have to be super rich to get ahead in politics, but money doesn't hurt if you use it wisely. Texas can't mint its own currency, Holden. That's against the law, if I'm not mistaken. It seems like Republicans started turning President Trump because Iran petrol prices. No, Republicans aren't turning him. That's what the media wants you to believe. So we've already seen fake news stories saying the Republicans have dropped the effort. The Republicans have rebelled and they're stopping Trump's fund to pay the people from January 6th. That had nothing to do with Congress. A federal judge dropped it. A federal judge said they couldn't do it, so the Justice Department dropped it. The Republicans in Congress had nothing to do with it. But the media want you to think the Republicans have turned on Trump because of that fund. It's just nonsense. It's just nonsense. You can see that in every race, Trump's candidates are winning. In fact, let's see if his candidate in Iowa, it's the one place where he wasn't winning. Let's see if the candidate there, Iowa Senate race. No, that's not the race. Which was it? South Dakota, sorry. Yeah, this is the one place. No, that's not the one. Hang on a second. Which one is it? One of them is losing. One of his candidates is not getting help. I thought it was that one. Maybe it's not. Oh, no. Okay. No, so I guess Rodin isn't. I thought Rodin was backed by... so the governor's still losing that race, and it's getting wider. 65% of the votes in now for the governor in Iowa, and the sitting governor, Larry Rodin, is in trouble here. Huh. John Hanson and Dusty Johnson definitely playing a role here, eating up 45% of the vote. Wow. So Tommy Dodine is ahead by over 3,000 votes now, which is a significant margin with 65% of the votes counting. Still several counties yet to come in from South Dakota. And for the Senate, Mike Rounds is leading by a wide margin there. But that's the race to watch, the governor race in South Dakota. In Iowa, that's not what I'm looking for. Here's the Iowa one. Okay, California. No, still stuck at 46%. Why keep people voting for Democrats? Because they don't like America. They hate America. And they're stupid. Oh, here come the totals. They're updating now. Just updated. And Steve Hilton has increased his lead to 1,078,000. So he's now 31,000 votes ahead of Xavier Becerra. Tom Steyer, and then Chad Bianco. Katie Porter's a distant 5th place. So, yep. So most of the counties now got at least partial reporting in, except here, San Joaquin, nothing. And then we've got, that's it. That's the only county that has got no reporting in. Here, half the votes from Santa Barbara County, and Tom Steyer's winning Santa Barbara County. That's interesting. Ventura County, San Luis Obispo. Where is Orange County? Was it down there? There's Orange County. Steve Hilton is winning in Orange County. But Becerra's doing surprisingly well. The Democrats are doing much better here than expected. Down in San Diego, Steve Hilton's actually winning there. Wow. Becerra out here in the desert in Imperial County, San Bernardino. Hilton is really strong here. Yep. So, and then Chad Bianco actually surprisingly well up here. Here's where Tom Steyer's winning there in Humboldt County, and then down here in Santa Barbara. Yep. So, more updates. So everyone else held steady. Steve Hilton gained another 0.1% there. So he's nearly a full percentage of votes ahead of his next closest right now. So, but when the election comes in November, there's no way Steve Hilton wins unless Trump does a major push and Republicans get an incredible ground game out. Oh, it's real time. Yeah, it's real time, baby. Karen has no water. I want to buy American gold coins. Say here, Krugerrand's only 4th on the list of the best gold coins to buy. You can buy American Golden Eagles. You can also buy Canadian Maple Leafs. Yep. Let me see. Best. Okay. For investors in the United States, the most liquid and trusted national gold coins, the American Gold Eagle and the American Gold Buffalo. Universally recognized, easily liquidated, and backed by the mint for weight and purity. Okay. So Pimex says, what are the best ones to buy? American Gold Eagle is listed as the best. So here you go. There you go. American Gold Eagle's official gold bullion coin of the United States, first released in 1986. It's 22 karat gold. Features Augustus St. Gaudens' iconic depiction of Lady Liberty, and then eagle on the other side. Available denominations 1/10, 1/4, 1/2, and 1 ounce. It's favored among investors and collectors alike due to its liquidity and universal recognition. The American Gold Buffalo, introduced in 2006, is U.S. Mint's first 24 karat gold bullion coin with design inspired by the classic Buffalo nickel. As Native Americans, 99.99% gold purity, and makes it highly sought after by those looking for the purest gold investment. The Canadian Gold Maple Leaf is next. A picture of Chuck on there. Gosh. First started in 1979. And then the Krugerrand, introduced in 1967, was the first gold bullion coin intended for private ownership, made from 22 karat gold. It features Paul Kruger's portrait on the obverse and a springbok antelope on the back. The Australian Gold Philharmonic. So, there you go. So, what is the price of American Gold Eagle right now? Okay. So, you can get a 1 ounce coin for only $4,583. Okay. And you get free shipping. Wow. There's a 1 ounce gold bar. I used to have some gold bars like that. Here's a 1/10 ounce for $510. Silver bar from Royal Canadian Mint. Good Lord. So let's take a look at the American Gold Buffalo. 4,600. Wow. Oof, man. It's got higher gold content, so it's a little more expensive. That's expensive stuff, man. Way too much for those things. Gotta go, Angelique. Okay, see you later. Employees and interest holding signs of daily price gold and silver bars and coins. Yeah, not all of them sell gold and silver, though. Yeah, I was going to buy some when the price of gold was $1,800. Now it's $4,500. And Costco right here didn't have it. Okay. Through its online store, price is tied to the spot market. Costco precious metals page. Members only. They don't do coins, they just do bullion bars. That's not the one I want. So, 1 ounce gold bar. Delivery. Members only, 1 ounce gold bar. Yep. Oh, boy. Bad time to buy gold. Wait, yeah, no kidding, Big Fish. It's bad time to buy silver, too. I could have bought it at $1,800, and I was trying to get it in Costco. Was selling it in stores, but they weren't selling it here. That's a lot of money. Goldbacks are available through trusted online distributors to local precious metal dealers nationwide. Let's see what they've got here. So goldbacks are voluntary, physical, local currencies made with small, precise amounts of 24-karat gold. They're printed by private mint Valerium using technology that physically fuses gold atoms between layers of durable, clear polymer, allowing them to circulate like paper money while maintaining the intrinsic value of gold. Goldbacks feature intricate state-themed designs tailored to participating jurisdictions such as Utah, Nevada, New Hampshire, Wyoming, Florida, South Dakota, Oklahoma, Arizona, and Idaho. They're not official U.S. legal tender. They function as complementary barter-based local currency used among willing buyers and sellers. Each note includes government-grade security measures, including serial numbers, intricate artwork, UV, and reactive ink for authenticity. Yep. So I want Wyoming one. But you can get them cheap. So here's an Idaho goldback for $4.46. 1/2000th of a troy ounce of 24-karat gold. There you go. This is 1,000, so it's twice as much. $8.91. Idaho negotiated instrument. Hey, Neff, what's going on? Costco sells cars, trips, glasses, contacts. Well, the reason there's membership for Costco is that's how Costco and BJ's make their money. They don't make money on the things they sell. That just turns the tills over. They make the money off of the memberships. Yep. So let me see. How much money? How much? $20.25 in the USA. In fiscal year 2025, Costco generated $5.2 billion globally in membership fee. The vast majority come from U.S. and Canada, driven by 10% increase from previous year. Membership fees account for 1.9% of total revenue, but generates over half the company's operating income. So that's where they make most of their money. The annual fees are $65 or $130 for executive membership. It's gone up. At the end of 2025, Costco had grown to 145 million cardholders across 914 locations globally. In the U.S. and Canada, 92.2% renewal rate. Wow. I'm comparing it with Sam's Club and BJ's now. Okay, so Global membership revenue for Costco, $5.32 billion. Sam's Club makes $4.4 billion. BJ's makes $500 million from membership revenue. Total sales for Costco, $240 billion a year. Sam's Club, $90 billion. And for BJ's, $20.5 billion. Well, thank you, Toast, for the 500 Rand super chat. Well, and just in your honor, Toast, I'll have something for you here. Are you ready for this, man? Hang on a second. I haven't seen you a couple days, so let me show you this. This is for you, since you gave a 500 Rand super chat. Okay? This is for you, man. Okay? Here you go. Come on. Ouch, my leg's itching. Here you go, Toast, just for you, man. Yeah, 500 Rand got you some toast, man. Yes, Costco is killing it. Standard membership fee for Costco is 65, Sam's Club's 50, BJ's is 60. Premium membership, 130 for Costco, 110 for Sam's Club, and 120 for BJ's. But they give a military discount or they give you a merchandise card. Renewal rates are all over 90%. BJ says 8 million paid members, Costco 145 million. Yep. The average Costco customer spends $3,086 annually compared to just $1,500 at Sam's Club. Costco explicitly skews towards higher income households that buy in larger bulk quantities. Sam's Club has seen its fastest growth among Gen Z and millennials. Okay. BJ's operates smaller regional clubs and sets itself apart by offering more product variety within categories but in smaller pack sizes. Huh. Okay, cool. And they each got their house brands. Costco, it's Kirkland. Sam's Club, it's Members Mark. And for BJ's, it's Berkeley Jensen. Is that done? Okay, cool. That is not what I was looking for. It's Toast. A snoring battle last night. Yeah, thank you for the 500 Rand. I wasn't expecting that. Walmart's turnover. Oh, that's pretty high, man. Walmart's annual turnover. That's, oh, geez. What? Last time I looked, it was north of 500 million. Or, yeah. No, it's more than that. It's billions, yeah. Hundreds of billions. I forget what it was. Yeah, there you go. It was 500 billion last time I looked. So, in fiscal year 2026, which ended January 31st, they generated 713 billion in global revenue. $713 billion in revenue. They have a lean operating margin, just 4.2%, but that means they made $30 billion. After expenditures, they made $22.27 billion in profit. So Amazon just got ahead of Walmart as the largest retailer in the world. And with Walmart at $713 billion, Amazon just posted $717 billion annual sales. Yep. Wow. Wow. That's a lot of money. Working towards $1 trillion in annual sales. You just imagine how much that is. That's just insane. Oh, yeah, you can buy Walmart. Yeah. Well, that reminds me. Walmart stock price. Okay, let's take a look. $113 a share. Let's go back 5 years. 5 years ago, you could buy it for $47 a share in 2021. Historically, it goes back to 1986. It was $1 a share adjusted. And it stayed that way. 86, it was only $3.90. In 1996, or 97, it was only $4.52. It only went 4 times higher. And then it started going up to $21 in 2000. And then by 2015, it was at $20. Still could have bought it. Then the growth took place From 2018, it went from $28. It just went up and up and up. Yeah, so that's that. Walmart. Let me look at IBM because that was surging today. See how it did. IBM stock price. Okay, $329. So after hours trading, it dropped $6. So went up $8 today. Wow. The company announced plans to invest more than $10 billion in quantum computing in the next 5 years. The government awarded IBM $1 billion in funding to accelerate quantum computing development. According to an analyst, IBM is following NVIDIA's playbook in the quantum market, building the software tools and developer ecosystem needed to drive mass adoption. They're saying IBM shares could reach $449, plus his 2.11 dividend yield. Well, keep driving up, fellas. Keep driving IBM up. I've been with IBM since 1990, so I'd love to see that. Yeah, you could put $770 billion under a couch cushion, that's for sure. Yes, Americans make lots and lots of money, man. So last time I checked, Walmart had over 1 million employees. Let me see where they're at now. Okay. 1.6 million people in the United States. Walmart employs 1.6 million people in the United States, 2.1 million people globally. Wow, that's crazy. Top managers in Walmart, who oversee 10 or 12 stores, earn over $600,000 a year. Wow. Individual store managers and a store make between $130,000 and $160,000, but they peak at $250,000. But that's not all their compensation. Yep. Now it says 2.1, 2.3 million people. Between Costco, Walmart, and Amazon, which of those? I used to love Costco the most, but I don't anymore. I don't like Walmart at all. Amazon, I used to love, but I don't trust them much anymore. But I do a lot of shopping on Amazon. I don't shop much anymore. Well, Walmart has the typical benefits: dental, health, 401k plan, medical insurance, all that stuff, and they get different things, different places. Yep. Yeah, lots of money. Let's check in on that California race, okay? You guys ready? We'll go from the gold to the California race and see what happened. 48% of the votes in, and Steve Hilton went up, and Becerra's gone down, and Tom Steyer's gone up. So Steve Hilton is extending his lead now over Becerra slowly. He's at almost 27%, and Becerra's sliding backwards. Most of Becerra's votes have come in already. That's why, because they came in early from the San Francisco Bay Area and Los Angeles. They were early votes, and Becerra went heavily there. Now we see that Steve Hilton's picking up more votes all over the state. Look at that, how red it is, the entire the map, But, I mean, it's not a dominating win there. It just means he's got the lead. So his lead now is, Steve Hilton was behind Becerra by about 60,000 votes earlier in the evening. We were down about 27%. Now at 47%, he is ahead of him by 36,000 votes. Steve Hilton. But this doesn't mean anything, guys, because the top two finishers, which means it's going to be Becerra and Hilton. And Becerra will probably win it because all the illegals have become Americans in California because of the amnesty and letting all these people in. And they'll probably vote for him because people vote based on names, just like South Africa, Becerra. So they'll vote for him. I'd love to see Steve Hilton win, but I'm not going to hold my breath. Vote share, size of lead. Okay, here you go. You can see Hilton and Becerra are the ones that have big leads in some areas, but it's not that big. Votes left, here we go. So, a lot of votes remaining in Los Angeles, so that's interesting. 50% of the votes are in there. So, apparently there's still a lot of votes in the San Francisco area too. Wow, that's interesting. Huh. So we're not even at 50% now. Steve Hilton's still bringing in votes. So hopefully it'll keep pouring in. Buc-ee's is a Texas thing. No one else has ever heard of that before. That's not true, James. There aren't 2.1 million active duty personnel. No, that's factually incorrect. There are 1.3 million active duty personnel, and then on top of that, there are 600,000 guard and 400,000 reserve. So yeah, that's not an accurate figure. I don't know where that came from. No, there's just a little over 1.3 million active duty people. So let's take a look and see what Google tells us, even though I know what the number is. The U.S. military has approximately 1.32 million active duty service members across 6 branches. That's what I said, 1.3 million. Army 445,000, Navy 330, Air Force 314, Marine 168, Coast Guard 41, Space Force 9,600. In addition, the Reserve and National Guard at 800,000 plus. I said close to a million. Yep. So, the Department of Defense, civilians, I don't know the current total. Current total. $800,000. That's a lot. Yep. So 811,000. Yep. So that's where he gets the figure from. Feel for the price of items. I don't know if in the interviews the guys have mentioned the conversion. Well, of course I have a feel for things. This, yeah, I do. Yeah, of course. Work with clients, including U.S. military and now Homeland Security as well. I make sure. Okay. You read this question wrong if you add Raytheon Jones. They're not employees. They're contractors. They're not employees. They provide a service. Do you include the fuel suppliers and fuel handlers for UPS who don't work for UPS but work for Menzies at the airport? No, you don't. Do you include the people who? No. Those are contractors. I'm a contractor, Department of Defense. I don't work for the Department of Defense. I don't have. No. That's you can't count that. That doesn't count. Raytheon, General Dynamics make many other things, not simply defense items. Yep. Honeywell does lots of electronic stuff and computer stuff. So yep. You have a friend who's a refugee, 3 weeks in Tennessee. Okay, big fish. Yep. No, you can't count that. You can't count that. Doesn't work that way. Does not work that way. Steve Hilton just gained another 0.1%. A few more votes came in. 48% still. No major vote totals changing, though. But Scott Pelley got fired. Yeah, you can see I'm not really crying over this. Texas Instruments, yeah, they also make computers and calculators. Mr. Pelley and microprocessors, a longtime correspondent, former CBS Evening News anchor, harshly criticized the show's leadership during his staff meeting Monday and got fired on Tuesday. Former anchor joined the network in '89 and a staff meeting Monday accused network's editor-in-chief Barry Weiss of murdering 60 Minutes, citing the ouster last week of the program's leadership team and 2 on-air correspondents. We've parted ways with Scott Pelley. After he's fired, he said he devoted decades of life 60 Minutes, which he said he still cared about deeply. I've been in combat in Afghanistan. So what? I've been in combat in Iraq. Hey, dickweed, I've been in combat in Iraq. Who gives a crap about whether you've been in combat? You haven't been in combat. You went along for the ride and were in no danger. I got shot at. Shut up. I've been in a war zone in Ukraine multiple times, risked my life. Oh, you haven't risked your life. Stop your whining. You people are coddled and protected. The real war correspondents are the ones who take flack, like in Bosnia and in Africa. Give me a break. The decision to fire Pelley will almost certainly spike the tensions that have coursed through CBS for months. It also raised the stakes in Ms. Weiss' decision to replace the leadership team. Yeah, well, good. I don't know that I'm a fan of Barry Weiss, but I'm glad to see Scott Pelley bounce out on his air. He's an arrogant asshat, and good riddance to him. Good riddance to Scott Pelley. Haha, goodbye. Don't let the door hit you on the bum on the way out, buddy. Don't let the door hit you in the bum. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Yep. Now, this is just down the road from me in Pennsylvania. A alleged Dillsburg drug dealer charged after cocaine found in daughter's lunch bag. A Dillsburg mother and her boyfriend are facing charges after police say daycare workers found a bag of cocaine in her child's lunchbox. Emily Arter, 30, and Joel Rodriguez Melendez, 31, are both behind bars following investigation by the Carroll Township Police Department. Police said they were called to Little Dreams Daycare on Orbank Road in Dillsburg on May 28th after a staff member opened a pocket on the side of the girl's lunch bag and found a small clear bag with a white substance. Police said that the girl, who is Arter's daughter, is less than 2 years old. Wow. They called 911. The cops took it to the station and tested it positive for cocaine. Investigators say they were familiar with Arter, and in recent weeks they received a tip that she was supplying cocaine to most of Dillsburg at a trailer park. Officers got in touch with the worker of the trailer park, who said they've been getting many complaints from residents claiming that there were drug deals happening at home there. Staff members said residents reported seeing a lot of people come and go from that residence. Officers got a search warrant for Arter's home and found more bags of cocaine, marijuana, and other controlled substances. Police said there were 4 small children living in the home who were all asleep at the time the warrant was served. Wow. They're both in York County Prison in lieu of bail set at $50,000. So there's your usual suspects. Yep. A town that had no Hispanics and only 2 black people in it until very recently. Now it's been flooded with Arabs and people from all over the world. Yep. So that's in York County. I am a judge of elections in York County. And yeah, so look at that. Look at that. 4 small children, and this scumbag mother is selling drugs in a trailer park and sending her kids to daycare with cocaine in the lunch pail. Some people should be sterilized. They shouldn't be allowed to breed. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. ASIS is Taiwan. ASIS is a Taiwanese company. Yep. Kustrek. I see that Jordan Hill Lewis lost in court in Cape Town. Some good news, at least. What did he lose? I didn't see anything reporting that. That is a shocking news story. There you go. See, James Duvall just backed up my statement. ASIS established 1989 in Taipei, Taiwan. Do I know my computing industry or what? Yep, it is sick. 4 small children. Wow. So this is interesting. So this is from all these people coming to our place that aren't allowed to be in this. They're just letting them flood our country. Police clear out York's biggest homeless encampment without any arrest. Police cleared out what was the biggest homeless encampment in York's history without having to make any trespassing arrests Tuesday morning. The June 2nd deadline for the Compassionate Clear Out initiative follows 30 days of outreach in Bance Park. Numerous organizations police have been entering Bance Park encampment, warning dozens of people living in tents on the trail along the Codorus Creek. Look at this pigsty. We tried our best to offer support and approach this compassion as we can. We're all human beings, understand, but also serve a role. We're representing the entire city. Safety, litter, and taxpayer costs are some of the reasons for the decision to clear out the encampment. CBS News 21 made numerous connections with people living in the encampment throughout the past few weeks. Some were just hours before the deadline. It was peaceful. It felt like home, said Lawrence Tink Nudge. He was called the mayor of the encampment. It's been a good struggle, between all the folks that roll here and the elements alone. Friends are never forever. Okay, where are we going? Where are we going to go? You feel like you had your home ripped away from you. You've stolen a park. 20 people have checked into Life Path's Ministries emergency shelter. Why weren't they there in the first place? Wow. A California man, 25 years old, is charged with homicide after a body found under a blanket in Dauphin County. Dauphin County is where Harrisburg is at. Ilya Romanchenko of Roseville, California, is charged with criminal homicide and abuse of a corpse in connection with death. Bodies discovered 10 a.m. Saturday off the southbound shoulder State Route 441. They have yet to identify who the deceased is. Victim was described as a white male with dark brown hair. Jeez. Wow. Yeah, house fire. 3 children died because their mother went to a drug deal. Yep. Apple is never my choice. When it comes to laptops, it's HP. When it comes to PCs, I build gaming machines, or I order it online. Best computer, cell phones, US, in your opinion. Best laptops are Toshiba, pretty good, but I wouldn't buy Toshiba for years. I don't have one, but I would say that HP are the most reliable and you get good prices on them. So, but laptops are laptops. You know, most of them are pretty good. PCs depends what you want. You can get a good off-the-shelf at Costco or BJ's. Costco's a better choice. You can get off-the-shelf PC for a very good price, $400 or $500 there, that meets basic needs. You want a gaming machine? This computer that I'm using here, I bought that with money I made off of YouTube back before they took my original channel away, and I paid $2,200 for it. But it came with one of the top video cards and 32 gig of RAM and a solid-state hard drive, all of which were relatively new at the time. Now that's all secondhand. So if I went to, I got it from, was it iBuyPower, which is not the best choice. iBuyPower, let's go see what they've got. I would never buy Dell. No, that's for corporate clients. I had a Dell laptop. It was the worst thing I ever bought in my life. I paid way too much for that, thousands of dollars for it, and it didn't work out of the box. The video driver was broken, and it was a horrible thing. Yep. So today's deals, let's see what they've got in iBuyPower. I'm not recommending you go to iBuyPower, okay? Whew, these prices are high. Whoa. Wow, I guess I'm not getting a new computer anytime soon. My goodness. Intel Core i9 14900 KF, GeForce 558 with 16 gigabytes, 32 gigabytes of RAM, 2 terabyte solid state drive, $3,099. That's down from $3,300. That's a lot of money. Somebody told me one of these other gaming Alienware. Alienware is expensive. Good sites to configure gaming PC. Okay. There's a PC part picker, building or iBuyPower custom built systems. Those are pre-built. I don't want a pre-built one. Yeah, someone told me about these other ones. Alienware is 1900. There's one there. Okay. Yeah, iBuyPower is where I bought mine, but I wasn't happy. First off, the RAM wasn't even installed. I opened up the case. The 16 gig of RAM fell out. They didn't even attach. They didn't even click into place the damn thing. Yep. Yeah, Dell's problematic. That's what I said. I had a problem with Dell's too. Yep. And their customer service, no, Newegg, no, screw Newegg. That's a site that's online. So okay, let's see what they got here now. They keep recommending Newegg, iBuyPower, Micro Center. Parkville, Maryland. Let me go to Micro Center. See, I didn't know Micro Center was even still around, and I looked it up recently. Yeah, there it is. Micro Center. Okay. Do I have an account here? I'm trying to remember if I had an account here. Don't remember if I have one, but Micro Center was the joint back in the day. No, I don't have. Don't have it. Okay, so let's just look at the prices. Okay, let's go to Micro Center. Here you go. So you want computers, desktops. Okay. Let's see what they've got. Let's see. Now, these are affordable prices. Yeah, these are much better, but let's see what you get. So for 15, well, that's 3,000. That's going to have everything, but let's look at this one here. It's got an AMD processor, 32 gig, 5060 card instead of 5080, 1 terabyte instead of 2 terabytes, $1,400. And here, that's marked down by $600. Yeah, but that's not powerful enough for me. I need more powerful. Let me look at the $3,000 one. There's the $3,200 one. Let's see what that one does. Okay, still an AMD processor. NVIDIA 5080, that's the top card. 2 terabyte hard drive. 64 gig RAM. Now, that's more like it. But the question is, what do the fans have? So, yeah. G-force. So if I go back to I Buy Power, and I'm a custom build a machine. Today's deals. Gaming PCs. Start building. Okay. Okay. I Buy Power. Good evening, Cool Beans. Build the perfect PC. So let's see. I'm going to go crazy here, okay? Start building, okay? All right, so I Buy Power mesh tempered glass gaming case. Okay. Comes with this base tower. I'll just stick with that tower, okay? But, I mean, how many fans? It has 3 fans, radiator support. Okay, I want lots of fans because, oh, here we go. Drive bays, 2 USB Type 3, 1 USB 3.2, 2C, tempered glass black. Okay, let's switch to this one here and see what we get with that one. 3 fans, supports, okay. 7 expansion slots. Okay, I'll add that to it. Okay, air cooler, tower, loop 240 millimeter. Yeah, let's do that one there. I'll add that cooler to it. Okay, next. Okay. I go with the cam face. Okay. Go with these here. Add the light wings to the fan pack. Next. Okay, so 50-50. Which card comes in it? Where's the 50-80? I want the 50-80. 50-70. Oh, 50-70, 50-70. There's the 50-80. Got $1,400 to add that card. So I guess I have to get the 50-50. But I want 16 gig of RAM, so 16 gig of RAM, 50-60. That's $600. Let's go with that. Add that. Okay, I'll have to install my video card. Okay, what processor? I want an Intel processor. Okay, that's the one I want right there. 700. Okay, next. Okay, motherboard. I don't know if I want the Asus motherboard. Three ports. Okay. Go with that one. Oh, it does not support that processor. Okay, let's go down with one. Oh, those are incompatible, so I have to go with one of these. Okay, got that one. Okay. Memory, 32 gig. I want 62 gig. Or 64 gig, excuse me. 64 gig. $879. Damn. Yep. I want a lot of power here. 750 watt. Yep, let's go with that one. Okay. Okay. And this is the drive. I want at least a 2 terabyte. 4 terabytes. So there's 2 terabytes. There's a 4. Go with 2 terabytes. Okay. Lexer. We'll go with that. It's not the best one, but it'll do. Okay. Solid state drive. Secondary one. Okay. 1 terabyte. 2 terabytes. Let's just go with. I use it as a backup, so we'll go with the one. Kingston. I'll go with that. Okay. Windows Home 11. 64-bit. Okay. Next, okay. To get $150 off. Okay. Belt bag for free. Jet tag. Okay. $10 for the keyboard. Okay. Next. Okay. Cables. I did this last time. Okay, I don't want a monitor. I got my monitor. Keyboard. I don't want wireless. Whisper quiet tactile switch. Well, the one I had wasn't whisper quiet. Okay. I don't want a mouse. Got my mouse. Okay, a mouse pad. Okay, so core components. Okay, there you go. $3,169. $3,169. AMD is better than Intel. I disagree with that. AMD is as good as Intel now, but they're not better. Sheets MPA is a good starting point, and they get very well and benefits great. Yeah, Sheets does pay well, and it's a good company. It's from Altoona, and they do very well. Okay, let's get to the California race again. See what's happening there. It was here, wasn't it? Okay, I don't need the iBuyPower. Okay, so all right, we're going to jump to it. Ready? Here we go. We'll see if it jumps. It hasn't gone anywhere. 48%. No, it hasn't gone anywhere. Okay. So it looks like Becerra closed some ground there. So it's 22, 32, 34. Yeah, about 1,000 votes closer. So, yeah, last updated 25 minutes ago. Of the 7 predominantly Hispanic counties, Becerra is leading in only 2. That is bad news. Whoa, that is bad news. Of the 7 mostly Hispanic counties, Becerra only leads in 2. Hilton holds the lead in 5 others, including San Bernardino, which Kamala Harris carried 2 years ago. Wow, that's crazy. Isn't that something? So Becerra is being beaten in Hispanic counties by Steve Hilton. I buy problems. Yeah, I could see that. Like I said, I had issues. They also, the Bluetooth never worked. The adapter, I paid for an adapter. They sent me another one. It didn't work. Yeah, Republicans are painting the towns red in California, so to speak. Oh, you want memory slots? Yeah, to buy. Okay, here it goes. Just got updated. Oh, Steve Hilton's margin dropped by a little bit, and Becerra's jumped. Still 48% of the votes coming in. Well, Hispanics are Christians with Christian values. Yeah, you say that, but they're voting depending on, it depends very much on ethnicity. Mexicans tend to vote Democrat. Cubans tend to vote Republican. Haitians tend to go both ways. Puerto Ricans tend to vote Democrat. Yeah. Venezuelans tend to vote Republican. So, yeah. Well, I am building my own PC. You mean go buy all the parts and assemble it here? No. I'll just order the parts and have them assemble it. Yeah, I was excited when this thing came. Remember I called it the Beast? I nicknamed this computer the Beast. But it's now over 5 years old. I got it in February, first week of February of 2021. Yeah, so 21. It's 5 years old now. So I had some work done, replaced the coolant system on it last year, but I don't like the drive options. So, and also it's Windows 10. Not that I have a problem with Windows 10, but yeah. So anyway. So I do build my own PC, so to speak. Yeah, I used to build them in my house. That's a while ago, though. But I don't do that anymore. That was a fun diversion about the gold coins, wasn't it? Stephanie White never imagined the heat of verbal exchange with Caitlin Clark would lead to noise beyond comprehension. Social media wastes no time after the Portland game painting White as a villain, although Lexi Hull's latest assessment cleared the air to an extent. First of all, 2 people being competitive, Clark's in the pregame press, are the 2 people that really want to win. I think a lot of those things happen all the time. Yeah, well, Clark is being the bigger person here, but the bottom line is that Stephanie White is an idiot, and she subbed out and took out her starters and cost her team the game. They lost all the momentum. Yep. So this is essentially sports analysis. The clip of the two of them arguing lacked much background or context, but social media construct a narrative that White is downplaying the face of the league, and basketball aggression is part of the game, and on occasion it might reach the coaches and the sidelines. In the NBA, okay. Before the heat exchange unfolded in the sidelines, Caitlin Clark had already missed multiple shots, and to be honest, she wasn't having a great game like she would have expected. I disagree. I watched the game. And in the first 4 minutes she was out there, she had a rebound, she had a couple of assists, and she had scored 4 points already. So they're talking out their ass. Yes, she missed some shots. So what? There are these people that hate Caitlin Clark, and they constantly attack her. It's really disgusting. Now, Caitlin Clark, she acts like she's privileged. Well, all these women in the NBA, every woman who gets a foul called and does this. Every one of them. Every one of them. They all do it. It's so annoying. They all whine about fouls. They all run their mouths on the court. They all go over and talk to the officials, and it needs to stop. It's a problem in the WNBA. It's not a Caitlin Clark problem. All of them do it. Every one of them does it. This is by Sumik Bacharara. Now we have Indians commenting on our basketball. Sophie Cunningham gets real about what's hurting the team after a fever meeting. Safe to say Alex Samara outcoached Stephanie White. You see the Indiana Fever is overflowing with talents like Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, along with Lexi Hall and Sophie Cunningham. Expansion Portland Fire, on the other hand, had players who largely rode the bench last year. On paper, the Fever should have beaten the Fire. Unfortunately, they couldn't bring the theory to life. The Fever failed to find its footing from the first quarter itself and was dominant on both sides of the ball. The Fire even limited Caitlin Clark. Just 6 points got her in foul trouble and turnover trouble in a 16-point defeat. After 2 consecutive losses that should have been wins, Sophie Cunningham is revealing what's stopping the team. We have to dial in. We have to focus. Okay, well, that's not really helpful. Doesn't tell you much. There's the hot Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark on the pitch. Anyway, and this is by Soham Kularki. What's the deal? Why are all these people from Asia are suddenly our writers for basketball? When do we outsource that stuff? You're going to tell me they're probably born here in Pennsylvania. Anyway, yeah. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Steve Hilton gained 0.8% and Becerra lost 0.2. It's extending his lead. It's almost a full percent now. He's up by 27 and 11 is 38. He's extending his lead. But the others are holding steady their percentage. Not much happening. But this map looks pretty red. When you look at this map, it's pretty red. So we're up to 49% of the vote in now. So, wow. Look at that. Look at Fresno. That is all Steve Hilton country. Look at that. 38%, 40%, 38%, 38%, and 38%. Wow. 38%, 40%, 40, 40, 37%, 37%, 35, 37, 39, 41, and 36%. Wow. Pretty interesting. So with half the vote in, it's Steve Hilton all the way. Graphics processing RAM price is very high due to the AI market demand. I don't know if it'll take that long, but yeah, I'm going to try to keep this computer going as long as I can, but I would kill for a new computer. I love new computers. Anyway, but yeah, that's also, I can't afford it right now, so this is going to have to do for now. It's going to have to do for now, so that's fine with me. Anyway, so, whoops, I'm making a mess over here. Anyway. Bricks and mining scandals more interesting than the WNBA. Oh, no one's better injuries. Must be true because she said so, yeah. Now I sound like an old gamer. Well, I was a gamer. I was a gamer back in the day. Build computers, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. Used to build PCs. That was fun. I built PCs back in the day when you had to put the freaking jumpers on the damn cards to get sound cards and video cards to work. It was crazy. It was crazy. Yeah, I used to buy the parts and put them together. Yep. Install the operating system, put the motherboards in there. Yeah. Yep. Water-cooled $5,000 PC. Well, I have to make a lot of money to do that. I don't have that kind of money. Oh, I just realized Caitlin Clark is legend. Yeah, she is. Well, she was basically mugged the entire first season. She was assaulted on the court, and WNBA allowed it. She got attacked, and then they also lie about stats. She puts the ball perfectly in her teammates' hands. The teammates drop it, or the teammates have a wide open shot. They go for a layup and they miss it, and she doesn't get the assist. And then they call her. They give her the turnover when it's not hers. Oh yeah, I had dial-up modems. I had cassette systems. I had to put a cassette tape and load the operating system. I used IBM Data Punch cards when I was a kid. I've done it all. Duke Nukem, yeah. Oh, I wouldn't buy a used gaming PC, no. No. Loretta, the new numbers always come out on the 5th. And is the 5th a working day? It is this week. So Friday night, we'll get the numbers, and I'll make a video probably around 10 o'clock Friday night because they don't come out till the evening. And I'll let you know. I don't know what to predict this month because we had a slowdown. I think the numbers going to be a lot lower than last month. I think it'll be a lot lower than last month because they hadn't got the approval to extend it in time, so they slowed things down. So I think you're going to see the 1,500 drop back considerably this month. A watch is what goes on your wrist. That's a clock. It's 4 minutes behind now. Somebody's commenting to Varoshka. I don't see Varoshka commenting here. What did Varoshka say? I have no comment from Varoshka. Let me go see. There we go. A bunch of windows open. Looking at all that Costco crap. Yep. So I didn't see anything from Varoshka. She's over here, maybe. Come on. Still, I think nothing from Varoshka. Oh, you're talking about work. Okay. Yeah, but I see that now, but I see nothing from you about work. Okay, anyway. Yeah, but I saw somebody talking about women living in cars. People live in cars. Kids live in cars. It's what happens when you let your country be flooded with illegal aliens and they suck up all the affordable housing. I didn't know people can't read a clock. I didn't know that. It's news to me. That is news to me. Sam Club has a gaming PC for $1,400. Okay. Yeah, but there are trade-offs. You know, like you can get a PC for $400 or $500, but there are trade-offs. Comment a while ago. Okay. All right. Thank you, Varoshka. No, but Brenda Ruth just asked the question. What are you talking about? How true? That's a question. Some U.S. states rent to expensive females live in cars and combis. Well, we don't have combis in America, so I'm not where you're getting that idea from. Hey, Quids, what's up, man? I'm trying to get some guests for next week, folks. Okay. I need to check on when the rugby's, what time the games are set for. So let me do this. That's not what I want. I want Flow Rugby for the URC. 12:30 on the 6th. It's Leinster versus the Stormers. Okay. Schedule. June 6th. Okay. Bulls play at 9:30. Okay. So we get a break there. Okay. So there you go. 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. So my news is out. I won't be doing news on Saturday. And that's from Scotstoun. And then from Aviva, it's Leinster versus the Stormers. We're going to have 1, 2, or no South African sides in the final. Be cool if it was 2. It would be so awesome to see the Bulls and the Stormers pull off upsets. And then we go back to DHL Greenpoint Stadium for the finals. Yep. Somebody needs to be a knee specialist for feedback on his knee. Okay, good night, Meerkat. Yep, semifinals. Looking for it. Yep, that's going to be fun. Then on the 20th, it's URC Grand Final. I got the Barbarians on the 20th of June. Yep. Yep, there you go. So it takes care of June. Then we get in July. Things change again. I'm still shocked at how few views my Liam Jacobs videos have gotten. It's really surprising. I'm really surprised. Well, knee operations are successful, but not nearly as successful as hip operations. $32 gig of RAM, 1 terabyte solid state drive, 1600. That's not bad. AMD processor. But sharks suck. Okay, let's take a look and see what's going on. Okay. News. If we've got attacks taking place, Kuwait, Bahrain, and Iraq, that means the Iranians are attacking, if that's the case. 1 hour ago, U.S. and Iran launched new strikes as ceasefire negotiations stalled. Okay. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this. 1 hour ago, BBC reports U.S. military has launched self-defense strikes on Iran, shot down ballistic missiles, drones fired at ships. The strikes on Qasim Island were in response to attempted attacks by Iran across the Middle East. Iran said it attacked U.S. bases and helicopters in a regional country using missiles and drones. CENTCOM said Tehran had fired 2 missiles at Kuwait and 3 at Bahrain, all of which broke apart or were intercepted. CENTCOM added a strike on Qasim Island, hit a target an Iranian military ground control station. U.S. military also shot down 3 attack drones launched by Iran towards civilian mariners that were rightly transiting regional waters. U.S. aircraft fired Hellfire missile in the engine room of the Botswana flag MT. How in the hell do you have Botswana flagged ships at sea? They don't have access to the ocean. Oh my goodness. Wow. 6 ships have now been disabled. So let's go on X and see if we got something there about it. Oh yeah, 6 years ago, Bernie Sanders said humanity only had 6 years left. Yeah. He won his 30 trillion green gas deal. This is 6 years ago, Bernie Sanders in a debate with Democrats.
The scientists are telling us that if we don't act incredibly boldly within the next 6-7 years, there will be irreparable damage done, not just to Nevada, not just to Vermont or Massachusetts, but to the entire world. Joe said it right. This is an existential threat. You know what that means, Chuck? That means we're fighting for the future of this planet.
His idiot was wrong 6 years ago. Oh, my goodness. What's Helen saying? I don't know, because she's not coming to my program.
I like Liam, and I got on well with Liam, and I don't want to clap him in any way. The thing that I will say about it is, though, it takes many years in politics to know that getting bashed about is part of what you bought into. And to know that you mustn't take yourself too seriously, and to know that you're going to get clapped from every single angle and you just have to dust yourself off and get on with it. That is what you have to know in politics. And if you don't know that in politics, you're going to learn some very hard lessons. Now, I've often found that young people come in and they get into the spotlight and they quite like the limelight for a bit, but they don't realize it isn't limelight, because the minute you get a spotlight on you, that's the next thing is going to happen, is you can have your head cut off, and you're going to have to survive that. And so it takes some hard knocks to get to that point. And it takes hard knocks for everybody to get to that point.
Well, you said you liked Ronaldo. What happened there? Now, they claim 250,000 white British girls have been raped predominantly by Pakistani men. I didn't know it was that many. This is shocking. But Labour voted 3 times not to investigate this. I know this to be true.
There appear to have been upwards of 250,000 young white girls raped in this century, very largely by Muslim men. And given these girls are
and they're moaning about it, even though we have the facts from the police. Listen to them moaning.
Usually raped several times a day for years. So, my lords, what is the government's answer to the Chief Constable of Northumbria, who has just said that there is every likelihood that these grooming gangs are operating in every one of our major cities? So, my lords, what is the government doing to prosecute those in authority who turned a blind eye to all this because they were afraid of being Islamophobic and so on? And what is it doing to compensate and help these victims mentally?
Not doing a damn thing.
There appear to have been upwards of 200...
Not doing a damn thing. And I've been talking about this for years. Keir Starmer's on the back foot now. Now he has to admit that the murder of Henry Novak. Yeah, listen to this.
Henry Novak was a kind, thoughtful, and much-loved young man.
And your cops let him die because they're racist.
This has understandably been devastating for his parents, for his family, and everybody who knew him. And
Sir Cox Starmer, we don't care what you have to say. Oh my God. What is hell Khalistan in Canada? Terrorist stabbed me outside a Starbucks with his daughter. His fault. He asked the terrorist to stop vaping so close to the little kid. And these people are carrying these knives. His name is Inderdeep Sang Gosal. He has friends and family working in law enforcement, political class kind of Canadians love their CBKs. Wow. That's crazy. This man was stabbed and he's bleeding profusely in front of a Starbucks in Canada.
Man stabbed, bro, right here.
And the guy comes back out with his knife.
This guy just stabbed this guy, man. This guy just stabbed him, bro. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead, bro. He's dead, bro.
Oh my God, the blood is everywhere. I think he actually is dead. I don't know. Let me see if I can find something on this, because this stuff tends to be stuff that's happened before and sensationalized by Twitter. I don't trust Twitter at all, so. Yeah, it was 2023 murder, yep. He pled not guilty to second-degree murder charges.
Inderdeep Singh Gosal for another few months. Wednesday marked the end of closing submissions after hearing from both the defense and Crown prosecution.
In 2023, the accused allegedly stabbed Paul Schmidt 6 times in the chest in a Vancouver coffee shop in broad daylight. He pled not guilty to second-degree murder. His defense lawyer, Gloria Eng, argues the client should not be found guilty of lesser charge, should be found guilty of manslaughter. Wow. So they're trying to blame it on he did drugs. So he gets a free pass because he did drugs. Give me a break. Yeah, so that video is from 2023. So, Innerdeep Sangosal pled not guilty to second-degree murder. And he murdered the guy in front of a Starbucks. Jesus. Another white person murdered at the hands of brown people, and there's no cities burning. There shouldn't be any cities burning, but yeah, stark contrast to things when they go the other direction. Yeah, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Brits will trek to Poland. Well, I don't know about that. Now, the UK, which only had 3 to 5 million people of color just in 1990, now is on the verge of becoming minorities. They're minorities in all the major metropolitan areas, the Brits. White people are minorities in London, in Leicester, in Sheffield, Manchester. It's all over the place. All over the place. So that's why I don't trust X. That's from a few years ago. Thousands of people currently attempt to storm the police station in the protest for Henry Novak. Yeah, this was earlier, 11 hours ago. So this is what you guys were talking about with the Brits. They've had enough. The English have had enough. That's AI. So here's the UK Home Office responsible for the borders of the United Kingdom. You ready for this? The land of the English, the Irish, the Scots, and the Welsh. And this is who controls. I told you this. Every time I go to London, I get harassed by South Asians when I go through immigration.
Welcome to the ship show. Every single day, a new flavor of fuckery.
That is Home Office, the UK. It's not for Brits. It's for the invaders. Wow. What does the EFF won't recover from? Let's see this.
Honourable President, of course, the Honourable Chirwa will call your presidency a presidency of commissions because the Madlanga Commission exposed the owner of the cult as having turned the city of Tshwane into his own personal ATM. The greed was so unbelievable that they...
I'm not going to listen to that. The Florida legislature has approved abolishing property taxes for most property owners. Wow. Need 60% of the voters this fall to make it happen. So this is the former Scottish First Minister, Hamza Yousaf. Listen to what he has to say.
When the most senior positions in Scotland are filled almost exclusively by those who are...
Yeah, by white people. Remember this? This is a couple years ago.
...white. Take my portfolio alone. The Lord President, white. The Lord Justice Clerk, white. Every High Court judge, white. The Lord Advocate, white. The Solicitor General.
There's a reason for that, dipshit. You're in Scotland, not in Bangalore. Good God. The white man is finally angry. Is this the UK? Lauren Witzka says.
The police are getting outnumbered now.
All right, that's not warranted. You don't attack the police. Yeah, now you're acting like other idiots. This is great. This one here is fantastic. Dr. Oz responding to a question from the audience.
What's your question?
Thank you.
Very
Do you
quick.
have any medical advice for the Americans out there that are suffering from a very serious ailment called Trump derangement syndrome?
I am concerned about folks who have focused their entire life energy on dislike of the president. It's disheartening to see people lost in that way, but you know, it's treating stupid is really hard, and it becomes a real problem. And these folks are off. Now, GLP-1s. I mean, what's your question?
Thank you.
Treating stupid is really hard. I love it, Dr. Oz. That's brilliant. Islamic private schools linked to care win court battle forcing taxpayers to fund their education program. Wow. This is Marco Rubio responding to demon rats in Miss Rosen. Is that the one from Nevada, I think?
You were at a party with President Trump in Miami instead of accompanying Vice President Vance to Pakistan for negotiations.
What party was I at?
Secretary Rubio.
You're 100% inaccurate and 100% wrong. Here's why. Number one, the Vice President of the United States was there, and he wasn't confirmed by us, and he was elected by the American people. Okay? He is the second in line of the presidency of the United States. He was present. Mr. Witkoff is the president's envoy for negotiation for peace deals. Mr. Kushner is a private citizen that serves as an advisor on these functions. They were the team that we sent to Pakistan. I was not at a party. Where I was is next to the president. Because in the midst of those negotiations, I was in communications with them. And in fact, I think there is media reporting from that evening on how on multiple occasions I went into a back room, I came back out and spoke to the president and was constantly updating him. On that evening, I spoke to Mr. Kushner and our negotiating team and Mr. Witkoff on at least 6 occasions, including twice on a secure line from the phone they had access to over there. So you don't know what you're talking about. You're just making stuff up.
He has the floor.
I know your staff wrote up this cute statement for your TikTok video, but it's not true, and it's not real. That's not what happened. Okay? I'm the National Security Advisor and Secretary of State. I was co-located with the President in the midst of a high-stakes negotiation so that I could immediately inform him about events occurring halfway around the world. I was where I needed to be at that moment because we had a very capable team on the ground in Pakistan led by the Vice President. Led by the Vice President of the United States.
Thank you.
Stupid people. Marco Rubio, that's absolutely brilliant. He's genius.
You were at a party with President Trump.
And Rosen is such an ass. These Democrats are just asses. They're like the DA. Oh, Peter Herdevold, explain to us where the 28,000 parolees have absconded to on your watch. Hey, they weren't on his watch. 16,000 of them absconded between 1991 and 2003. And weren't on his watch. Stupid DA, just like Democrats.
Individual made in the image and likeness.
Okay. All right, that's enough of that Twitter stuff. That's rotten the brain. All right, let's check in on California one more time here. Well, Trump didn't surround himself with brilliant people the first time around. So, all right, we're up to Steve Hilton is up to, he's over a full percent ahead now. He's now 48,000 votes. His lead is increasing over Xavier Becerra, but again, that really doesn't matter much. But it looks pretty clear that it's going to be Hilton and Becerra. There doesn't seem any chance that Tom Steyer, despite spending over $200 million, is going to get back in this race. He's pretty much done, it looks like. So Chad Bianco is distant, but that's because Trump sabotaged it by endorsing Hilton when we could have 2 Republicans at the top of the ticket guaranteeing a Republican governor. Very short-sighted plan by Trump, not thinking this through. So there you go. 27% he's almost up to now. And half the votes are in, according to the AP. Let's take a look at the other race, the Iowa Senate race. That was a foregone conclusion. South Dakota governor's race. And, Toby Dobin's lead is extending. The sitting governor is likely to be bounced out on his ass. The lead is now almost 5,000 votes. It's been slowly trickling up throughout the evening. 81% of the votes in. I don't think at this stage, given that there's 4 main candidates in here, that there's much chance of Roden catching Dodine. Let's take a look. The cases where he's probably going to get the most votes. Dodine is in, Roden is in red. And so we're looking for, I want to keep someone in Iowa. This is South Dakota, yeah. So there's only 2 counties here that haven't reported, or 1 county, Ogallala, Lakota County, no reporting there. So, yep, looks like Toby Dodine is going to be the Republican nominee. Wow. No, Rubio's not a yes man. I thought that's how he was in the Senate, but he's proven to be his own man, he can't be soft in this day. Yep. Kariba near 60%. Well, that's long overdue. Incredible connection, incredible corruption. Yeah, incredible connection is very expensive. Very expensive. Be careful driving through Kruger. All right. Oh, we hit 50%. And Hilton lost 0.1%. Steyer gained 0.1%. So, yeah, he's now 44,000 votes ahead of Becerra. All right. That's going to be interesting as the night goes on. All righty, guys. That's going to do it. Thanks. Yeah, incredible connection, incredibly expensive. And I'm going to wrap it up here. Be sure to hit that like button if you have not done it already. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys Wednesdays. The news will be early tomorrow, half hour earlier, because I've got Ronaldo in the afternoon. Okay? Don't forget that. See you guys later. Take care. Thanks for being here. Always a pleasure. Cheers, everybody. Where are we at here? There we go. There it is.